Hey folks, we're supposed to be working on the DeSoto today. So what we wanted to do on this DeSoto was make sure we did all the stuff that didn't cost any money before we, started spending all the bucks. So I thought, well, bodywork's mostly just labor, so let's do that. So we went out, we picked up an Amazon welder, and we bought a bottle of argon, bought a new welding mask, we bought a bunch of consumables. We also, while we were at it, we figured, hey, we should get some heat in this place. So we went and bought a furnace and all the gas line to run it in here. And that's how we're gonna not spend any money on the DeSoto, is by having all that stuff. That was our first step. This is the new welder. It's like straight from Amazon. It was 250 bucks Canadian. So I don't know how good of a TIG welder you get for 250 bucks Canadian, but I'm sure it'll be that good. The reason we had to get a new one instead of grabbing the other one was we only have 110 volts out here. So you gotta work with something pretty little at that point in time. Now, in order to get started on the DeSoto, the first thing we need to do is get a welding cart that's not this, because this is plastic and it's gonna drive me crazy if I try and work off of that. So we're just gonna start by building a welding cart. Now see this big board? This is brand new too. We got this from our buddy Dodge Diesel Dan, and it's like, it's a big old whiteboard, so we can draw pictures and make lists and things. Then over here, there's corkboard, and you got thumbtacks. So that's pretty cool. That's our shop update. Now let's get to work building the thing. That's what we're building right here. It's a cart with 4 casters. It's gonna have a lower shelf. The bottle will sit on the lower shelf and into the second shelf. The welder's gonna sit on the second shelf, and then there's just gonna be like a tabletop on top, if that makes any sense. That's a TIG torque. That's what that's supposed to be. That's a ground clamp. But that's what we're doing, because every time you buy a welder, you got a life choice to make, and that is, am I gonna buy a welding cart from the store for 100 bucks, or am I gonna build it with whatever I happen to have laying around? And since I sort of spent all the money buying the little welder and the bottle of gas and all the consumables, and we don't have any bucks for stuff, is what I'm trying to tell you. So we're just gonna build it with whatever we happen to have, which is a bunch of 1/2-inch pipe, round pipe, unfortunately, but it's sturdy enough for this little welder. And we'll have a decent workspace on top when we're done. So that's the big plan. Now, if a guy's got the option to make all his material first instead of as he goes, things tend to go a little bit quicker. So first thing we're gonna do is cut all our short crossbars, which you'll understand what they are in a minute. They're all gonna be 18 inches approximately. And if they're 18 inches and you put the outer bars on the outside, you'll end up with 19 inches, and then you'll put, say, an inch barrier or 2-inch barrier. You'll have like a, 22-inch wide surface. That'll be pretty big for this little garage, so that'll be good. Yeah. Oh, this tape measures you may as well got this thing from Toys R Us. But I tell you something, it's bought and paid for, so we're gonna use it. Is that mark in the right place? You know what they say. Measure once, cut it again, Sam. Now, the thing about modern welding helmets, if you look inside of them, the majority of them have grind setting. It was on sale. I don't think it does. Oh no, there it is. Grind. Ooh, it makes a click sound. Now we put our hat on like a welder man. And we pop this on. And now we'll be able to see while we grind, and the sparks won't go into our seeing eyes. That's pretty good. There we go. Now we're talking. Nope, we can't have this quite right. You gotta be able to stay on the head there. Oh, keep my brain inside. It's so tight. All right, there we go. We got 10 pieces made, which is all our short crossbars. Now, for those of you that were cringing while I was inadvertently sending sparks into the side and interior of the DeSoto, I did realize the error of my ways and turned around. That was on me. I hadn't thought that one completely through. This is why I don't have nice things, because they wouldn't stay nice very long. Okay, so we got all these pieces cut. We got 4 legs, 4 long crossbars, and 10 regular short crossbars. Well, there's 11, but that's just because I can't count. Hey, is that you? Where have you been? You been hiding out? Yeah? I'm a good girl. Yeah? What are you doing? Hey? Are you a good girl? Did you just come out to visit? Did you come out to visit? Yeah? Yeah. Well, shake. Show everybody how smart you are. Shake. You thought about it. Come on, shake. 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 How come you always do it when no one's watching? Okay, now what we're gonna do is something I learned from a farmer, and that is we're gonna crimp all the ends. Cause see what happens is I need to weld this to this, say, right? Well, that's like a really ugly, you probably can't see it, but it's an ugly joint to try and weld. If we crimp this end, then it'll be less ugly. So that's what we're gonna do. Alternatively, if you had the technology to cut like a taper, you could use a hole saw and cut all your pipes. That would have even better, but that takes a long time and I didn't do it. So that's not how we're operating today. Just pop it in the old vise here. The nice thing about using plastic pipe as a snipe is really good odds you'll bust the pipe before you bend your vise handle. Because a bent vise handle, although very common, is kind of annoying. Perfect. See that? Now it's like that, see? And now when you put this on there, you've got a nice sort of like tight joint. You can weld that up easier. I don't know. Maybe that's useful to you. Maybe it's not. Either way, I gotta do it about 28 more times. So that'll be fun. If you happen to be doing that job and you don't have a vise, or for instance, you just broke your vise, there's an alternative method. It's a little bit crude, but it works. You pick a piece of your concrete that you're not too attached to. You get a framing hammer or whatever, and there you go. Just like that. It's a little uglier and it's got a sort of a crimp in the middle, but it'll work. If you guys have watched in the other shop and this shop, I don't own a bench grinder. It's not because I don't want a bench grinder. It's just because I don't buy them. Because see, you can do this, and then you can position this wherever you want, and that's kind of like a bench grinder. It's got no guard, which just apparently is the theme of tonight. So we'll put our helmet back on and our gloves back on, but yeah, like this works. It does the job. Are you hoping we were gonna play instead of just make noise all the time? Yeah. Well, we got a bunch of these now, so that's good. They're all shiny on one end, which probably shiny enough for me anyways. Now, I think we're ready to try doing a funner thing, which is pretty cool. Maybe? Are we ready? Yeah, we're ready. If you guys have gotten this far in the video, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't think this guy knows what he's doing, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because now we're about to try using our TIG welder. And, well, we've never put two pieces of metal together with TIG ever, except maybe but once when I was in plumbing school, and that was 15 years ago. Anyways, we got it laid down on the concrete because it's pretty flat. Definitely flat enough for me. If the table ends up as flat as the floor, then it won't wobble because it'll be flat just like the floor. So what we're gonna do is we'll tack up this side, we'll tack up all the sides, all four corners, then we'll square it, we'll weld it solid, then we'll build another one of those, and then we'll go from there, whatever the next step is there. Now, I know there's like stick out and stuff you're supposed to worry about. I don't know what any of that's supposed to be. That much. And maybe more. Try there. I don't know. Something about the stick out and the diameter of your pink tube and... You put this somehow in this hand. You put your mask... Oh, you gotta turn your mask up. Turn it off grind mode. Now's the time. Pay attention to where your bits of rod is so you don't stick yourself in the eyeball. Or just try. No, I don't know. With a tack, are you supposed to Like, can you just touch them together with the tack and that's good? Or do you have to have filler rod, or what's the story? I'd say you need filler rod, based on that little experience. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. Hey, we have a tack, sort of. It ain't pretty, but it's a tack. It's even almost where we wanted it. All right, that's not so hard. We got 2 tacks now. It didn't immediately fall apart, so that's good, right? My tacks don't seem to end up exactly where I want them to be, but making tacks, so, you know, that's progress. Hey, look at that. It's sort of welder, isn't it? Okay. Okay, well, it wasn't welded that good. Let's try again. Just shouldn't have picked it up by that piece, that's all. I should have known better. The other piece. That's what you picked it up by. Whoa, what are you doing? That must have been a no ground. There we go, that's better. Okay. Now we square it, then we weld it. That'll be 1 piece done. If you own a square, you're lucky, and you should use a square. If you don't own a square and you only have a tape measure, which I did find a better tape measure, then you just measure this corner, which says 36 7/8, apparently. You measure this corner, which says 36 1/4, and then somehow you make it longer. I think you go like this. We got a parallelogram. Now we got 36 1/2 there. And then you got, I've never seen anybody so incompetent with a tape measure in my life. 36 and slightly more than 1/2 there. So we want to make that go this way again. A little more. 36 5/8. Yeah, 36 and slightly more than 1/2. That's good enough for guys like us. Well, me, anyways. Now we just gotta weld her up a little more solider, and then we'll try to do some weldering. Get over there. Get loose. Now, if you happen to be a welder and you would like to tell me how many ways I'm doing this wrong, I am all ears. Because I'd like to get good at this if I could. That'd be pretty fun. You know one thing, doing it on the floor is no treat. I should have watched a few more YouTube videos. I watched a couple to get me going, but maybe I should have watched more. Oh, now I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? No, I don't think that's supposed to happen. We're gonna be at this for a while. We'll see you in a minute. We'll show you the welds unground, don't worry. Well, we've done our first 4 welds, and you know, like, I have done easier things worse. How's that? I'll show you. That's weld number 1. And then I went crisscross, and that's weld number 2. Here's weld number 3. Now this was the point where I realized, hey, you can just go back over it without rod and sort of clean it up a little bit. And then that was weld number 4. So, like, you know, progress is being made. By the time we have this thing built, which is not gonna happen tonight, but by the time we have this thing built, we'll be 4% better than we are now anyways. I was gonna say good, but that's not gonna be accurate. So, capable, that's what we're going for. If we can be capable, that'll be good. Anyways, I'm gonna call it an evening for tonight, but we'll see you in a second. Yep, we're back. It's a couple days later. I've learned a couple things. Mostly, like, I'm not quite ready for welders of Instagram kind of situation, but we are getting, like, pieces welded together. We've done the second one of these already, because I just, you know, I needed to practice with no pressure, so I just whipped another one of these up quick this morning, and it turned out much easier than the second one, because I realized, you know, you don't have to work on the floor. You can square it up after you touch it up here, then weld it up here, and that was way better. And we're just gonna start putting the crossbars in pretty quick here. Stay there, don't move. It's not like MIG where you get to just hold it while you do stuff. Oh man, I was gonna show you guys how much I've improved. Now I'm just making a mess. That's better. Okay, now let's do the same thing. Go in the other direction. I can't see what I'm doing from over there. Okay, that's 2 welds. Good. We have part of a box now, all tacked together. I gotta put some crossbars on it, and we're getting closer. Our technology is improving. We now have a bungee cord holding the two together so that this stays here by itself while we tack it up. That seems at least as good as the average bear. Maybe not the average. Maybe the slightly below average bear. You know when something starts going well, so you just keep going even though you shouldn't? That's what happened right there. That might have been a gamble. Okay, we're back. Now, this is gonna look different than the last scene you saw with it, because, you know, I've been working on this a few minutes at a time when I had time, between, you know, trying to get some heat in this place and a gas line done and, you know, regular work. This sort of got put on the back burner, but I worked on it a little bit. You'll see we got some stuff, things welded. Progress has been made, both in how well I'm welding and on this thing. So we got a spot right here for the bottle, see? Bottle's gonna sit in here. Welder's gonna sit that way. Cords are gonna dangle in here, as well as we'll weld some things in to hold like filler rod and tungsten and whatever else. But now, the next thing we're up to is we gotta put some casters on this thing because I'm tired of carrying it around. Now it's not bad for weight, but we ordered a set of 1/4-inch steel, a piece. We ordered a piece, a 1/4-inch steel to go on the top, and it's gonna be heavy once that goes on there. And then we got some expanded metal we gotta put in here and whatever else. None of which we have yet, but we do have casters. So, on to casters. Where's my filler rod? Where did my gloves go? Hey, hanging out. Oh, that's right. We are on grind mode. That's not the way to do it. Yeah. Whoops. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Well, now I got it crooked. Whoops. Quit that. Oh, there's a spot that it locks. I didn't realize that. I gotta turn this somehow. That wasn't working. I'll just put another tack over here. Oh, yeah, there goes the tungsten. Now, every time you contaminate the tungsten, you're supposed to stop and just put a new one in, but we don't always have time for that. We'll just do a really crummy tack instead, because that's what you get when you don't just replace it like you're supposed to. These crappy welds. Oops. Are you guys sure you want to be in here? Luna, you're just so happy to be alive. It's hard to tell what you really want in life, you know? And Elvis, you just don't want to be alone. That's mostly your thing, eh? And you also want to sleep and eat. Those are your things. Luna, you're just happy to be alive. Okay, we're on to the second one now. And just for fun, I don't know if you can see it, I put a glass one of these things on because I had one in my little kit of consumables and I thought, hey, let's try that out. It's way bigger of a nozzle. I don't know if that's good or not. It just is. So we're going to try it out and see what it looks like. Certainly looks easier to see what you're doing. It's definitely easier to look and see what you're doing with that on there. I don't think it'll make me a better welder necessarily, but it's easier to see what I'm doing. Let's lay some filler in there and see what it does then. No, never mind. It'll make me a better welder if you can see what you're doing. That was a worthwhile change. Oh, that's going much nicer now. Okay, well that's something you should do right off the bat is put a clear one on because now you can see what you're doing. Like, you can definitely tell I need some practice, but it's coming along. Alright, with the braces for the wheels done, it's probably time to put the wheels on. You might say we're putting them on in wheel time. You might say it's going to be really good. You might say I'm really excited to have this on wheels. You might say none of those things if you're not a pun kind of guy. We're going to put swivels in the frontish, where the welder's going to stick out. We're going to put the solids in the back, because that's how I like to drive. Not everybody likes it that way, but that's my choice, so that's how we're doing it. Now for welding these on, we're just going to sort of put like a tack, like a really big tack on the 3 sides, maybe a 1-inch weld at most, just because maybe these aren't the casters I'll end up wanting, or they'll be inconvenient, or, you know, maybe I'll wreck one. How about we get a set of ice? I feel like there's a lot more wrist action in TIG welding than MIG, and I don't have that down pat. Oops. What's happened there? I don't know, that's a weld, isn't it? Oh, this is stainless rod, by the way, because it's what I have that's a little thicker. I don't know if you're supposed to use it, but I know you can weld mild steel, like MIG wire, to stainless, so I couldn't see why the opposite wouldn't be true. It seems to weld. Hopefully it's strong enough. Like, gravity's gonna hold the wheel there as long as it doesn't fall off. Oh, we've made a bit of a problem here, though. Okay, well, that's a gappage to fill, that's all. We can do that. We can handle that. Didn't realize I was on fire there. Time to open the door and walk out for a bit. I think that'll hold the wheel. You might need to put some more grease in this one. Now, I have just discovered something that I think every welder already knew. If you're working with like thick metal like this, if you just heat the top and sort of get a melty bubble, and then let it drip onto this part, and then get this hot, you don't need any filler rod. You just sort of melt it down, and it comes down, and it flows nice, and you end up with the weld that looks prettier than all the other welds I've done. It's like supplying its own filler, because this is so thick, and, you know, the weld is not. So that's pretty cool. Look how good that one looks. Look at that, eh? It's a cart. Look, it even rolls around. Ooh. And if you put it on the right spot of the floor, it doesn't even wobble. I did not realize how bad this floor was. Wobbly there, wobbly there. Like an inch wobbly there. Not wobbly. Oh, there's. Whatever. It's good. All it has to do is not fall apart. I'm sure if we put enough weight on it, it'll straighten itself up. Is it sturdy? I think it's sturdy. Hey, look at this. We got some expanded steel. That's for the shelving. Underneath that, we got a plate. It's only 1/4 inch. I'm just not very strong. First thing we got to do is, well, this plate isn't flat. See how even this expanded steel won't sit on it flat. Grab something square. It clearly warped when they cut it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's up like 1/2 inch over here, and then you have to, you know. So it needs some weight in the middle and some up on the outsides, and we'll see if we can get it flatter. Alvis, what's the matter with you? Come here, come help. Come here, what's the matter? Is this frightening to you or what? Is this helping? No, it's really not, buddy. You know, I really thought this was gonna work. But it's not doing anything, Elvis. Yeah. Nothing. It's not helping even a little bit, buddy. And it's bothering you a lot, eh? Alright, I'll think of something else. Up you go. We want to get onto the frame. Basically in the middle of the car. And then we start to pump it. And hopefully... Oh yeah, this is already working. I'm also picking the car up, of course. But now we've got a bow going the other way, about the same amount. Maybe that'll be enough. And no, still curved. More. We're really lifting the car up pretty high. That's amazing how much that does not want to go back into its home. Back down you go. I don't know if that's straighter or not. We're going to abandon the plate for a couple minutes until I think of something smarter to do. And we're going to work on this expanded steel bit. Now, there's a couple different ways to do that. You could trim it nice and make it fit inside the squares, and that would sort of give each little spot a little lip. And that would be nice. It'd probably look the best, but it means every time you're lifting something in and out, you have to lift it over. And I'd have to make, not only would you have to, it'd be a lot more work is what I'm trying to say. Alternatively, you put it on the top and have it nice and flat. It's easier to weld. It'll look better, at least in my opinion. Oh, that fits so nice right there. Oh, wouldn't that be good? It's right on the seam and, well, ish. I think we're just gonna do it on top like this. I like that better. Alright, we got a little bit of making it cleaner. Give me a couple minutes. So we're just going to mark this to cut it. If you've never worked with much expanded steel, you have to be aware that you'd think you could cut across the seam, but it isn't square. And also, like, the thing that I built here probably isn't that square. So you better just, like, lay it in place and mark it in place. Like, if you thought you could cut on every little tick here, no, it won't be square or straight or nothing. So you just lay it in place, mark it out, zip it all off, and go from there. Also, probably the pipe below is not square either, because it's pipe, and it was old, and I got it for nothing because it was bent up, so, you know, it probably isn't that square. How about now, eh? Is it starting to look like a cart? Does that look more better? I hope so. I guess we got a bunch of little welds to do. Now, I'll be honest with you. It'd make a lot more sense to me to wander over to the barn and use the little flux core welder and go we'd be done so much faster. But I won't be any better at using my TIG welder if I do that. And the goal here was to get better at using the TIG welder, so, you know, the next project, which will be harder, will be easier because I did this project. You know, like, we're trying to work up to roll cage ability. That's the main goal here, is we're going to do this, we're going to do body work, we're going to do a stainless steel exhaust. On the old auction truck, it's going to come back here in an episode soon, and then we're going to try and do a roll cage. Hopefully by then we can weld good enough to pass an inspection. We'll see. Oh dear. Planned that. It's supposed to fit exactly on top of this other cart. That will conserve space later. That was definitely intentional and not a lucky accident. You know, most problems in life can be solved through the basic consumption of some smoked meat and a few minutes to think, and 2 pieces of angle iron, a pair of vice grips, or 3. It's straight now. Now we just weld it here and weld it to there. move this apparatus over to the other side, weld it up again, and it'll either stay straight or it'll warp the whole table. And if it does that, well, then I guess I'll make a brisket. Okay, that's a tack. That'll hold long enough for us to do the other side. Here's our great moment of truth. Does it spring badly? Boy, did I ever put that on tight. Ooh, it kind of did. Well, yeah, it's still up there a little bit. That's all. Yeah, it ain't straight yet, is it? Oh well, we'll put something heavy in the middle. That'll fix it, eventually. Ow, that was hot. Ow, that was hot. Ow, that was hot. Oh, yeah, I welded this about 30 seconds ago. Welding the other side did not take the bow out of it either, but I have a plan for that. We'll do the same thing with a little bit heavier angle iron, and we'll put a brace and weld it in down below. That should take care of that. But regardless, for now it's a table that's got a little bit of a bow to it, and that doesn't hurt my feelings in the slightest. What I really want to do is see what it looks like with a welder inside. So I'm gonna do that. Why does everything I do become a disaster? It's just the nature of who I am. Ow! Towards the front very carefully then. We're not going to drop the bottle. Oh, you're stuck with you. Oh, it's gonna go in. Oh. Well, at least I've got enough. You might have to put some hooks on the outside of this thing. Oh, there's cords and things. So there it is. Welder sits there. Helmet's down there. Cords are there for now. Eventually we'll put hooks underneath somewhere. We got a spot for long consumables in there. And I don't know, maybe I'll put a bin or something in there for tungsten or whatever else. The bottle's sneaky under there. Easy to reach. Where's the switch for this thing? Well, the welder switch is right here. That's not too bad. And then we got a nice curved surface to work off of. So that sums up my first TIG welding project for now, at least. I'm gonna do more with it, you know, put some hooks on, put a proper safety chain on, and that kind of thing. But for now, like, you've probably been watching me weld and grind long enough for a little while. So we're gonna call that an episode. Next week it'll be car stuff again, I expect. But, you know, this week is just, this was the project that needed to happen, so that's what we did. Thanks for watching, and appreciate all the subscribers. And hey, if you're not subscribed and you want to be, it's as easy as clicking a button. So you just feel free. I'll appreciate it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.